Hello, welcome back. So today we're going to continue with the QL tape recovery nightmareness. I'm determined to get something to work. So yeah, let's get on with it. I should just point out the first part of the video is pretty naff because for some reason I was holding the camera with my hand up. I got a bit over enthusiastic, so please forgive the really bad camera work. Right, okay, let's get to it. Looking deeper into this thing, I thought I'd give it another clean before I kind of wrote it off, and I realised how bad it is. So the head is actually not too bad, but you can see here there's lots of gunk. That is actually a piece of the felt pad on one of the cartridges, which is just giving up the ghost. So that's not good. So I think I'm going to have to clean this anyway. Got some isopropyl alcohol in there, and that one. That really shouldn't be anywhere near that. And yeah, that's quite nasty. Let's just clean that off a bit. Apologies, I'm holding this flipping camera. It's not very well organised. Okay, and I'm going to put a dab of alcohol on that and clean the heads. That's a dry one. So is there anything on there? Tiny bit, I guess, but that does look a lot cleaner. That was horrible. I didn't realise there was so much crap floating around in there. Okay, well, let's see if it's possible to put a cartridge in. Doesn't really, I mean, it does kind of sit, but it doesn't really sit that well. I've had them ping out before now, so let's see whether any of that loads. Okay, well, it's spinning. Can't really see a great deal of now, unfortunately. Well, it does say QL archive on their database. I've got that on the screen. I would have thought it would have probably loaded by now. Well, no, I'm not sure. That's what it looks like. It's still spinning. That's not encouraging. Right, I think it's just going to spin and spin. Same again. At line 8, bad. Oh, bugger. Try the second tape. Do a directory listing. Because, I mean, this might be a bit weird. If I can get this one to work, I can always swap it to the other one. I think. So there's some stuff on there. Let's see if we can load anything. One of the suggestions in Diagnosis is to figure out what the voltage is on this 5-volt voltage regulator. There's a 7805 here. So I've got my scope probe. So I'm not shorting it. That looks okay. So I've got my scope here set to 1 volt per division. So if I then switch it on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it looks pretty good. 5 volts, it looks pretty good. So that's stable. If I then start doing this and it will move, it's stable at that voltage. So I don't think it's the regulator, because that's not wavering, it's bang on. Obviously the thing starts flipping loading, but then fails. It's so frustrating. So the little Microdrive has turned up. external microdrive. Got a cable. Actually came with a cartridge, which was nice. Although I have a feeling that might be probably formatted for Spectrum, but hey, whatever. It's a cartridge. And yeah, so it's time to test it. So let's pull out this cartridge. This cartridge was loading to the load screen, but so the way this works is you've got this cable here. Oh, it's actually, I think it's is it handed? Maybe not. That's odd. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, here apparently is a little door that comes off and reveals a little connector. I assume that's right. I'm not sure why it didn't. These handed. I would have expected that to go in there, but that cable doesn't fit. Maybe it's just something dodgy with the cable. Well, let's see if it's detected. So I think that will be 3. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Let's have a look. So I've put the cartridge in there. There's nothing in number 1. So if I do a directory mdv3 underscore, it does start. That's a good sign. Okay, and it's seen some stuff. Let's write a simple program. On that. Okay. Save mdv3 test. That looks in great nick, that Microdrive. That's cool. So if that doesn't work, then fine. What I'll do is get the cartridge that came with it. So I think it's probably ZX Spectrum format. So format that cartridge. Right. Okay. So that's the same. That's actually encouraging because it's the same message as these internal drives. So if we take this out and use the cartridge that came with it, and if I do a dir mdv3, fortunately it may mean that I have to write off all of these cartridges. I'm kind of expecting this to fail. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Right, let's do a reset on that. So if we spell it right, format mdv3 underscore test. Okay, last thing to try. I'm going to try and format of that on the internal. mdv1 test. Wow, that formatted. That's unexpected. Okay, let us do a directory listing of that one. Okay, that recognised it. Okay, so let's write a program. Oops, wait. I have read somewhere that these old cartridges sometimes do need to be exercised. They haven't been used in a while or whatever. That, you know, running them backwards and forwards and stuff like that can help. Okay, so let's get rid of the program. There's nothing in memory. Let's do a directory mdv1 test, and test is the I mean, you can't even see that. Hang on. No, test is the disk name. Test is I should use a different name. So let us reset. That should. Well, there's nothing to boot from, but that's. So if I do a load mdv1 test, list it. Come on! That worked. Okay, test. Brilliant. That is really cool. Now, so that one cartridge out of all of them is the only one that works. I'm not sure about this. I think that works fine. The external microdrive works fine. I think it's just needed to be exercised a little bit, which means all of these are knackered. Oh, what a nightmare! So I'm not sure what to do with those, but chuck them out, I suppose. Oh, anyway, we've got a working cartridge. So the next thing I've got to do is yeah, have a bit of a play. Try and get some software on there. So that was a bit of a faff. So the result is one working cartridge and 10 of these dodgy ones. So that's really annoying. All these have been filtered apart from one which had a mechanical issue. But yeah, I don't know what to do. I mean, I just can't get them to work. I can't get them to work on, well, I've got 3 drives now and they don't work on any of them. They start to load, they just don't work. So I don't know what to do. It's odd because the one that does work, I'm going to look at that in a bit more detail, but I don't think there's anything particularly special about that. It just happens to work. So it must be something to do with the magnetic media, because I can't see anything particularly unusual about that thing. It matches my hair colour. It's not that. I'm sure it's not that. Yeah, so nothing special. It just happens to be a working one, which means, well, how do I do with these? That's crazy. Yeah, annoying as well because it's the proper, you know, it's a proper styly from QL. So you know they're nice branded ones. I just don't think actually that is the one that's broken. Look at that. That's completely knackered. Anyway, I mean it's good in some ways because we finally proved that it's both all 3 drives are working. Well, the one I've recently got I knew was working or was sold as working, but yeah, the other 2 apparently are working, or at least the one I've booted from. I've saved that program. That's a very cursory test. I've got to put some software on it and see for real what's happening. I guess I've got to go and get some more cartridges. Yeah, I mean I feel a bit crap flogging these because I know they're broke, but I suppose maybe somebody else can recondition them and get them working. I just don't know. I don't want to put them in the bin. These are, you know, they're not super common. So yeah, it's a bittersweet end to it really, but at least I know the thing's working, which is the main thing. So next step, I'm gonna look at writing some simple, super basic programs to transfer files over serial. So I've got I don't know where I've put them. I've got the little PSTN adapters. I'll make a serial link, write this little basic program on that cartridge, and hopefully transfer some programs to that cartridge and test that. So yeah, it's cool. I suppose, yeah, I've got to be happy because I mean, getting cartridges is relatively straightforward. You see them, I'm hoping that they're working, they're going to be good, and that's relatively cheap compared to getting new drives, because that's not. I mean, you just can't get them, you know. Short of actually modifying it and converting it to SD, which would be great. There's some cost involved in that. I'm not sure I want to do that. I also want to play around with the original hardware, with the original experience of loading stuff off those cartridges. So it's the noises as well, you know. It's a real thing. So yeah, that's it for now, I think, and we'll call it a day. See you next time. Cheers.